welcome, everybody. As Nate said, thank you. I am the shy girl at church, so this is very awkward for me. I'm Rachelle Indra, and this is a perfect month for me to be doing a talk because it is on inspiration. And as a life coach, this is how I pay my mortgage. This is what I do, is help people with inspiration. And when we think about inspiration, I found this quote that I really liked about what inspiration is. It says, fill someone with the urge or ability to do or feel something, especially something creative. And I love that. And as a life coach, you'd be surprised how many people come to me and say, oh, I really want to do this thing, but I can't because. Oh my God, I would totally have done this in my life, but, oh, this is that thing that's stopping me. Why you think you can say that to a life coach? I have no idea. As if I'm just going to be like, yeah, no, of all the people I've helped, you're the one I can't. Absolutely. There's a place for you on my website, the one that can't be helped. But it's amazing how many people come to me day after day and say, oh, I can't, or oh, I will, or oh, someday. And so I started making a list of all the things people say to me about why they can't do the thing, have the thing, be the thing, embody the thing, make the thing. Things like, and by the way, I'm sure nobody in here has one of these, but this is just my clients, right? Totally different. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough support. I don't have enough tools. I don't have the education. I don't have the freedom. None of these people, I know. Then my other favorite is I'll do it when. I'll do it when's are great. I'll do it when my health improves. I'll do it when my kids grow up. I'll do it when I get married. I'll do it when I get divorced. I'll do it when my mother dies. Was several, which I feel like is really awkward on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Especially to my mother who's watching. This is not my list. Unless you talk about my weight again at Thanksgiving, and then this is definitely my list. Love you, Mom. I'll do it when I'm not depressed. I'll do it when there's a new president. I'll do it when the tariffs fix everything. I'll do it when I have time, when the time is right. Right? We've heard a lot of these. And here's the thing. We actually need restriction to be creative. Give you an example. If I gave everybody here a pencil and paper and said, make something inspirational, make something creative, make something in 5 minutes that no one's ever thought of before, that you have never thought of until this exact moment, and make it different than anybody else here can make. That would be really, really hard. But if I gave you a piece of paper and a pencil and I said, 5 minutes, give me a story about the daily life of a princess in Zambia. Might not be the best thing in the world, might be the best thing in the world, but you could probably do that. And it would be different than every other person's here. We need restriction. Ask somebody who's been retired for a long time, that had all these ideas of the things that they were going to do in retirement. They got them done the first 3 months, and now what? And they can't think of anything to do, right? I learned this need for restriction firsthand when I went to film school. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. You're a life coach. You used to work in comedy. You were a writer, and you worked in the film industry, but we thought you were 19. I know. Not 19. I'm a 300-year-old witch. With a W, by the way. So I'm a 300-year-old witch, so I did go to film school and worked for a decade in the film industry in Los Angeles. And I went to film school to be a music video director. For those of you who the year you were born has a 2 in front of it, you can Google what a music video is. They were really cool back in the day. But I went to school to be a music video director. I was so excited. And then I realized that I really, really love money and telling people what to do. Those are my favorite. So my professor said, you should be a producer, and put me on to the producer track, which is what I did for a decade in film industry in LA, pre-production and post-production producer. But when I was in school, I got the opportunity to be the producer of a 48-hour film to make a film in 48 hours. It's a competition. And all the schools in Southern California get together and they play off of each other and they do this competition to see who's best. High pressure, high stakes, because every head of every school wants to win. It's a big deal. So they give you all the resources, they pick their team. I was honored to be the producer that runs this whole thing. The great thing about a 48-hour film competition is it takes about 60 hours because you don't wake up and it starts. So wake up, you got some stuff going on, then you do it, and then there's the after part. So the nice thing is that you're awake for 60 hours, but you don't start hallucinating till about hour 40. So you get most of it done, and you're totally fine. No big deal. I could do that at 22. Not anymore. But the great thing that I loved about it was a container that forced you to be creative quickly, right? It takes, by the way, 1 year to 3 years to make a movie, and we're doing it in 2 days. So literally, we walk up, we have our whole team with us, they hand me the envelope, we open the envelope, it has an idea, you need to use 3 locations, I hand it immediately to my writer, and we are going. We are absolutely going. The whole team is there and ready, and I learned very quickly that if I kept my face neutral, I didn't look disappointed in anything, and I told everybody that their ideas were amazing, I could get the most incredible work out of these people. And once I knew they were capable of it, the rest of the year, I didn't let them settle. I didn't let them rest on their laurels because now I knew what they were capable of. So I would just sit there doing this, which is really, really annoying. But I would just do this to remind everybody that we are busy. And I would just stand in front of my writer and say, okay, great idea, we're not going to use it. Great idea, we're not going to use it. Great idea, Devin, take that. Great idea, Sarah, take that. And we just keep going like that because we are in community and everybody wants to help, and if I can get them moving fast enough, I can keep the smoke detector away. Now, you should all know what the smoke detector is because you all watched my talk 3 weeks ago, right? We know what the smoke detector is. If I start screaming tuna fish right now, some of you are going to be like, I know what that is. People who didn't see my talk, what are you doing? What are you doing? Go back and watch. But I talk about your ego. Ego meaning the voice in your head that's talking to you all the time and saying mean things. And your ego is like a smoke detector. It's there to help you, right? You wake up at 2 in the morning, the smoke detector is going off, you run out of the house, you call 911, and you're so grateful you had a smoke detector. But you're trying to cook on a date, and things start to burn, and the smoke detector goes off, you're not so thrilled with that, right? But you know what it is. You know that alarm sound, but you know you're okay, and you know that you don't have to run out of the house screaming. So you say, yeah, I got it, but I'm going to do this thing over here. It's just like the ego. We choose to listen to it or not listen to it. It's going to blare either way. But if I can just stay neutral and keep everybody moving, we can move faster than the smoke detector can get us. Because here's the thing. The smoke detector is your security system. It blares very, very loudly. All the time, right? It's talking to you right now. It said 50 things right now to you about me standing on stage. It's always going. It's always trying to keep you safe. Now your creativity is like, hi, do you need me? Hi, is there room for me? Is there time for me? But it will always take a back seat to the screaming. As it should, because if you're running out of your house at 2 in the morning because there's a fire and you're like, oh my God, do I have the dogs? Do I have the kids? Where's my husband? You don't want your creativity to kick in immediately and be like, oh, you know what? In 5th grade, I wrote that story and I have a better ending to it. I should think about that right now. This is the perfect time. No, you don't want that. You want your alarm system to kick in first. But you also get to decide to not listen to it and listen to the creativity. I had a lighting guy that I worked with on this. He never spoke. He hated the sound of his voice, and he thought every one of his ideas was stupid. But we were moving so fast, and we needed so much out of everybody, and we were so exhausted, and we were so hungry, and we were college students, so we were so broke, and our egos were busy doing other things that he would come up with the most incredible ideas. Like, we were going to be using a Catholic church, and then I sent my team to the Catholic church, and the Catholic church is like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, you can't film in here. Totally understand. And he's immediately like, oh, I know somebody at a synagogue. We can get in there. And I was like, awesome, the family we're shooting now, okay, great. They're now Jewish. Get me a yarmulke. Let's go mazel tov. And everybody went to the synagogue to start working. We can outrun it. I had a set of editors, sound design, sound mixers, and color correctors. Ex-husband and wife would absolutely not work together. But I could pressure them into it because I'm lovely. I could pressure them into it for doing the competition because they were working so fast, they were working so hard that they didn't have time to hate each other. And they knew each other incredibly well. So they worked faster than any other team because they had worked together for years. So if I could just keep them moving fast enough, okay, she's going to need this sound here, so I'm going to put this here for her. I'm going to move this over here for him. He's going to need this. But they were so quick when I could get them out of the ego. So it's so important that we give ourselves that kind of structure. Like I said, then for the rest of the time in school, I knew what they were capable of. I knew what they could do. Another one that comes up for me, which I find really interesting, and it's Mother's Day, is mompreneurs. Does anybody know what mompreneurs are? These are mothers who decide to start a business during motherhood, oftentimes early childhood motherhood. This is crazy that you would do this. This is the time when you are sleep deprived. You don't have money. You don't even have your own body. Like, there are spider monkeys like crawling up your body. I don't know how children work, but I assume that's like how they work. I've seen children on TV. It's fine. But you are so exhausted, and your ego is working so hard, just like keep them alive, stay awake, keep them alive, stay awake, keep them alive, that it gives room for the creativity. It gives room for that inspiration, for that desire to come up. And so we have mompreneurs. In the most stressful time of your life, there are women who say, and somebody said it earlier today, I freaking launched my business and I'm a mom. Like, what? That's insane. But that's what comes out of us. Also, people in prison will talk about the silence, the void. Every single thing has been taken away from you. You don't choose anything about your life. And for some people, the demons come, and I totally understand that. And for some people, inspiration comes. When the ego has nothing left to talk about, you get that moments of silence. You get that moment of clarity. And when we hear these wonderful stories, a lot of people in prison start things in prison, or they get out and they start some amazing business, or they write that amazing novel that was just brewing in them the whole time, because they have restriction. Now, I have dated a lot of men with motorcycles. Why, you ask? I love toxic men. That's my favorite. I've gotten better, though. Now I just hand them my card instead of my phone number. So my father is very proud of me for that. See? Look, everybody can grow. So I've dated a lot of men with motorcycles, and then gotten to know their friends and gotten to know some people who own motorcycle shops, and I started to notice a pattern. I started to notice my toxic patterns, obviously, but I started to notice this pattern with the men that I dated and the men that I met, and it was ADD and ADHD. And I would ask my partners, like, what is it you love about riding a motorcycle? And they would say, the fact that I can't hear the voices. So we think our smoke detector is bad. When you have ADD, not only is your smoke detector yelling at you all the time, it's saying, look over there, 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 look over there. It is absolute chaos all the time. Just the simplest amount of focusing is incredibly taxing. Incredibly challenging. I'm a firm believer that the reason our egos give us ADD and ADHD is so that we never get to feel the feeling of accomplishment. Because if your ego can keep you looking in all directions all the time, then you will never get to feel accomplished, which means hopefully to the ego, you will never get to feel satisfied, and then you will never get to have self-love. Because if you have self-love, maybe you won't listen to that ego voice anymore. Right? We talked about that before in my last talk, about how the ego voice wants to stay in control. It wants to keep you unhappy so that you listen to it. And so these men I dated would say that when they're on the bike and they're going so fast, and being on a motorcycle is a life and death situation every single time you are on, the ego gets to do the thing that the ego is best at, which is survival. So that ego stops chatting in your head about what the girlfriend said, what work, what your childhood, all this, and it's just focused on keeping that on the road. It's just focused on base jumping and the velocity at which you're headed towards the ground. People will even talk about this who live here about mountain biking, right? Really stressful mountain biking. There's a calmness there. People who fly out of airplanes, there's a calmness. All I'm focused on is the wind, the ground, and I'm assuming that cord, right? It makes all that other stuff go away. It makes the ego quiet. Now, I don't want to get emails that you guys are going to send me saying, oh, you guys, Rachelle, I became a base jumper in order to deal with my ego, right? I don't need somebody emailing me and being like, my grandfather has started to jump out of airplanes in order to deal with his ego. We don't need that. So I'll tell you the same thing that I tell the men that I dated who drove motorcycles. I said, well, I hear you on this, but you spent $25,000 on a motorcycle. You could have spent $25,000 in therapy and kept your girlfriend. Shocking, they chose the motorcycle. I don't know why. So therapy is a great place to go to start looking at the ego and to start looking at the decision to not listen to it. Because the ego will tell you, I'm not a voice in your head, I'm you. Every time it says, I'm you. There's no voice, there's no one else here, it's just you. But you are the person that hears that voice. You are the person that hears those thoughts, and you get to choose whether or not to listen to those. Therapy is great. Life coaching is great. Spirituality is great to help. But so is what we're doing here today. So is just talking about it. Working in mental health, I love the saying that shame can only exist in the dark. And once you bring it to the light, it dissipates. It's like that with the ego. The ego keeps telling you, I'm you, I'm you. You have to listen to me. But when we start talking about, when we start remembering that it's just a voice in our head, it's just an alarm system that's trying to save us, we can choose not to listen. And it loves puzzles. It loves restrictions. And it will tell you, you can't get past those restrictions. It will tell you that there's always a reason to stop. There's always a reason to stay still. There's always a reason to stay small. And then there's creativity. That says, hi, wow, challenges? Cool. I love challenges. And if we can keep that ego busy, or we can choose not to listen to it, we can find that inspiration to get past those challenges, to work perhaps within those challenges, within those restrictions. So I invite you to make your list of all the reasons why you can't, or all the reasons why someday, because everybody here has something you want to accomplish, something you want to do, something you want to feel, something you want to embody, and a reason why, or many reasons why. I challenge you to make that list. And then if you can, get together with a friend, get together with a family member, a coworker, and brainstorm. Hey, I brought my list. Have them bring their list of their thing. And then brainstorm together. Use your creativity together. Because when you bounce ideas off of each other, they lead to more inspiration. My creativity loves your creativity. We get to be creative together. So being like, okay, these are my restrictions. These are my boundaries. These are what my ego is telling me are the reasons why I can't do the thing. And then brainstorm all the ways you can. Invite your creativity online, and then turn around and do it for them. See what happens. Thank you.